Welcome to Scriptural Snapshots, brought to you by Living Faith Ministries in Kaiser, West Virginia, where we bring the living Word of God into your life. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. We're talking about sound doctrine. And we've talked about so much about how we're losing sound doctrine. We're losing the concept of that. One of the things about sound doctrine, I'll put it like this, out of the 10 Commandments, it says, honor your father and your mother, and you will live long in the land which God has given to you. See, it's a first command with a promise. And when you lose your respect for your father and your mother, when you fail to honor them. Notice it didn't say you've got to love them, it says you've got to honor them. You've got to treat them right, you've got to look out for them. So you've got to honor them. And so when you lose that doctrine of honor, you're undermining authority, you're undermining respect for people. You're just kind of letting everybody do, well, whatever, I don't have to pay attention to mom and dad. And we've thrown that into our culture. And this is what 1 Timothy 1, 8-11 is saying, that the law is good because the law is that command of God that should not be broken. That is sound doctrine. And it's giving us a list here that the law was not made for the righteous, but the law was made, and these are all things that are contrary to the will of God. It's contrary to sound doctrine. Being lawless, and so many people say, well, lawless is literally to be without boundaries. And we say, well, we ought to be allowed to do anything we want to. No one is allowed to do everything they want to. You know, your freedom stops at the end of my nose. When your freedom interferes with me, you're no longer free. This is the lawlessness that people want, is I can do anything I want to and no one should ever have any objection to it. No. I hate it that we're passing laws today because what someone does might offend somebody. So we're going to make a law against it that you shouldn't be allowed to offend. And it's always a particular group. But do I get that same opportunity? If a law offends me, then am I given the same privilege as everybody else? See, we'll say, well, some people say that the law against stopping abortion is something that offends me. Well, it offends me that you want to kill your child. So now which offense do we make legal? See, if you don't have sound doctrine, it's just your opinion against my opinion. Sound doctrine takes opinion out of it. And we want a society, or people want a society today with lawlessness, and you just can't have one. It doesn't exist. Somebody, sometime, somewhere will put down the law and say, you can't do that anymore. I think about Hitler and the brown shirts. And if you know the story about the brown shirts and the black shirts, Hitler started a youth organization called Brown Shirts. And they would go out and they would riot. They would throw pies in the faces of speakers. They would mock people. They would set fires. They would attack people. They would do all, sounds kind of normal today. So Hitler used those to stir up people that somebody has got to step in and control these brown shirts. And Hitler didn't say that he was part of them. He didn't publicly support them, but he was behind the scenes and was with them. So Hitler would condemn the brown shirts. I don't approve of this at all. Well, then he created the black shirts. And in one night, the black shirts went into the brown shirts and killed them all, murdered them. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people died. Might have been thousands, I'm not sure, but hundreds of people died anyway. The black shirts became known as the Gestapo. So Hitler created the brown shirts to create havoc, and then he came up with the solution, I'll save you with the black shirts. And now everybody was so glad to have the black shirts. Oh, we've been saved. Hitler is behind the black shirts, and the black shirts are good because they will protect us. No. The black shirts had to come because people were demanding that the lawlessness of the brown shirts be put to an end, and it was put to an end, but it became a tyranny. This is why you've got to have sound doctrine, because if you don't have sound doctrine, there will be havoc, there will be chaos, and then somebody will come along, and the only way to stop that kind of chaos is through destruction and government takeover. It's been historical for centuries. It's been done and tried over and over successfully many times. That's why you've got to have sound doctrine. And when you get rid of sound doctrine, you create lawlessness, which can only be solved with a stricter law than what anybody thought was possible. Dictatorship. This is why sound doctrine is so important for you and for me to live and to teach our children. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. God bless you.